Formula One is in its slay era right now, and for that, it can thank women.
What did he say?
But before you leave an angry comment, just wait. We are going to explain how having more female fans actually makes the F1 community better for everyone. So much has been written about how many new fans the sport has gained in the US, but the trend is very much true in Australia too. In 2017, the Melbourne Grand Prix looked to have hit a serious slump, with peak TV viewership declining for 3 years in a row to a low of 3.4 million viewers. But 6 years later, with a whole new vibe, the 2022 Grand Prix reached 3.6 million on Channel 10 properties alone, plus another 611,000 who watched on Foxtel or KO. That's a lot of new fans and more money.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
A survey by Heineken, sponsor of the 2023 Australian Grand Prix, found that 65% of new F1 fans in Australia are women. So how did this previously male-dominated fandom become so popular with the girlies? You won't be surprised to hear that the Netflix docuseries Formula One Drive to Survive has a lot to do with it. Stephanie Bendixson, who you might know as Hex from the iconic show Good Game, is one of those new fans.
I'm pretty nerdy through and through, and I think a lot of people who aren't interested in sport would look at racing and just be like, why should I care? Drive to Survive gave me a lot of reasons to care beyond just this car goes fast.
The drama of a racing season storyline is one factor. Drive to Survive has even been likened to Real Housewives, a comparison we are very much into.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
We spoke to some new fans in the Zee Feed community, and they said they definitely enjoyed the ego-driven power struggles and driver backstories, but it was far from the only reason why they've fallen in love with the sport. Just like old fans, they love the danger, the speed and the sound of the cars, admire the skills of the drivers, and thinking about how money influences it all. Drive to Survive has given them an accessible education on the jargon, the technical rules, and the crucial background context for the sport.
To win in Formula One, you need to win.
You're hearing a lot of race chatter and you're hearing conversations, but as a newcomer to the sport, you don't understand.
Will Buxton does a great job of concisely explaining those finer points so that you get this instant understanding. So while haters will say that Netflix fans don't know anything,
Netflix are a real bunch of cunts, aren't they?
and that female fans only care about cute drivers, the new army of F1 girlies are armed with real growing knowledge. They're watching the entire race season, following the off-track developments, and forming their own opinions about the sport.
No, I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.
Younger women in particular are expressing their passion in, frankly, innovative ways. A recent article in The Cut highlights themed romance novels and TikTok subgenres as just some of the methods that women are using to build communities around the sport in a different way to the traditionally male fan base. Cracking F1 open with new ideas is a good thing. Now sponsors are following suit, moving away from exclusive events and experimenting with more accessible activations to welcome fresh fans. For the first time, Mercedes-Benz and the Australian Grand Prix will not hold the traditional Ladies' Day lunch. A representative told the Sydney Morning Herald it was quite clear a lot of our female guests wanted to see Formula One on track, and the lunch didn't offer that. Heineken is also hosting its Player 0.0 Sim Racing Challenge in public sites around Australia, inviting Aussies to race around a virtual F1 racetrack, with those who post the fastest times in each city winning a trip to the 2023 Melbourne Grand Prix. Some longtime fans told Zee Feed that a decade ago they would have been shocked to see cool initiatives for their once niche hobby in general spaces like Westfield Parramatta or Chadstone Shopping Centre. But thanks to the shift in fan base, that's what we're seeing now. The energy and new opportunities that female fans create is directly correlated to the financial growth of the sport. Across all industries, the power of the teen girl dollar creates massive wealth and crucial cultural relevance. Let's put it this way. Would Liberty Media, owners of the F1 Group, be named the world's most valuable sports empire for 2023 by Forbes if it wasn't for this legion of new fans? But despite the growth and excitement that new fans are bringing to the world of F1, some old school fans are not always receptive to the newbies.
Get a grip, get a life.
To be fair, this isn't specific to motorsports. It happens in other sports, in music, and as Steph knows well, in gaming.
Across any community, people are kind of like, well, I liked this thing first, not as big a fan as me because I've been there since the beginning.
Fans can be very protective of the thing that they love, and they're scared of anything coming in and changing it. Being a fan forms a part of your identity and says something about you as an individual. It's not surprising that some people will get territorial about newcomers encroaching on their sense of self. In this still male-dominated space, the hostility towards female fans is well documented. Whether it's getting grilled in real life, memes and online jokes, or vile comment threads on digital platforms, some male fans get upset when they realise girls are also into F1.
I can see a lot of parallels with my experience in video games. Maybe there were a lot of women playing games but not being vocal about it because I think the scene around it just felt very male-dominated, and to even learn or ask questions was scary because people would put you down for even putting yourself out there or developing an interest in something.
So here's the advice for new female fans finding their feet in the F1 community. First, embrace your newbie status. Not as something shameful, but just as a simple fact. Steph says this worked for her when she was entering the gaming community as a young girl, and it is just as effective now.
The first thing I say is like, hey, I'm new to this, but here are the reasons why it's interested in me. Try to be clear about the specific reasons why I'm interested in it.
Next, ask a lot of questions. Opening up the dialogue between new and old fans of F1 is already creating ripple effects of positivity. The Heineken survey found 67% of new fans are spending more time with their loved ones through bonding over the sport. And the older fans that we spoke to, some who've been following F1 for more than 20 years, say the new popularity of the sport has helped them build friendships with people they wouldn't normally have much in common with. Steph says this makes a lot of sense.
Once you get people talking about the thing that they love, they actually can't stop and they want to share with you as much as possible. If I've learned anything, it's to not be afraid of telling people that I'm excited to learn.
And lastly, show your support to other women and newcomers achieving great things in the F1 community. Recommend your favourite female podcasters, gas up the women presenters, and generate the positivity that you'd like to see.
A broader range of voices being added to the community. You know, we've seen with so many other different communities and in gaming certainly, that it just improves it overall. You know, we end up with more better content. We end up with a broader range of different stories and opportunities and ways to participate in it.
It's infectious in the best way, making things way more fun for fans new and old.